The South China Sea is simmering, its waters restless beneath a gathering storm of geopolitical rivalry. What was once a distant dispute has now become a daily reality for those who live and work here. On September 17, 2025, these vital waters are once again a global flashpoint, drawing the attention of world powers and ordinary citizens alike. The sea lanes, crucial for global trade, are now shadowed by uncertainty and risk. Chinese Coast Guard vessels have escalated from gray zone tactics to open confrontation with Philippine supply boats. Water cannons, lasers, and even collisions are now routine. Each encounter grows more dangerous, pushing the boundaries of what the world considers acceptable. Filipino fishermen face daily harassment near Scarborough and Second Thomas Shoal, their livelihoods threatened by intimidation and blocked access to traditional fishing grounds. For many, the sea is no longer a source of sustenance, but a zone of fear. The Philippine government, under mounting domestic and international pressure, is shifting from merely documenting Chinese aggression to preparing a more forceful response. Leaders now weigh the risks of escalation against the cost of inaction. The US and its allies have increased naval operations, signaling solidarity with the Philippines, but also crowding the region with military hardware. Joint exercises and freedom of navigation patrols are now a regular sight, raising the stakes for all involved. The world watches, wondering not if, but when tensions will boil over. Newsrooms buzz with updates, and every new incident is dissected for signs of the next big escalation. Against this backdrop, the Philippines has made a bold move, a major military mobilization, not at sea, but on land. Troops and equipment are being readied for rapid deployment, signaling a new phase in the standoff. The focus is Northern Luzon, the country's strategic northern frontier, facing both the disputed waters and Taiwan. Its location makes it a critical point for defense and a potential flashpoint in any wider conflict. This deployment is a clear message. The Philippines is ready to defend its sovereignty with credible force, determined not to be intimidated or sidelined in its own backyard. Troop movements and combat readiness now speak louder than diplomatic protests. The military's visible presence is meant to reassure the public and warn potential adversaries alike. The stage is set for a confrontation of wills and visions for the Indo-Pacific, where every maneuver is watched and every decision could tip the balance. The stakes have never been higher. The world holds its breath as the region stands on the edge of a new and uncertain chapter. In Ilocos Norte and Cagayan, military convoys snake through winding rural roads, their engines rumbling as they move deeper into the countryside. The sight of these long lines of vehicles signals a major shift in the region's security landscape. Overhead, helicopters fill the skies, flying low above the fields and villages, providing both support and a visible show of force. The Philippine Marine Corps, led by the elite 3rd Marine Brigade, is rapidly establishing forward positions along the windswept coastline, digging in and preparing for any threat that may approach from the sea. This is a strategic pivot, no drill, but a realignment toward external defense. Commanders issue orders with urgency, and troops move with a sense of purpose, knowing the stakes are higher than ever. Newly acquired BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles are now deployed, transforming Northern Luzon into a formidable anti-access zone. These advanced systems are a game-changer for the region's defense. The sight of these launchers, poised and ready, signals a credible threat to any hostile naval forces that might test Philippine resolve. Logistics are humming. C-130s fly non-stop, delivering troops and supplies, while naval vessels offload heavy equipment at remote ports, ensuring the front lines remain well supported. Local governments are fully engaged, coordinating closely with the military to ensure smooth operations and civilian safety, forging a united front. The message is clear. The Philippines can now sustain a significant fighting force far from its traditional bases, projecting power into previously quiet regions. Marines set up advanced communications, conduct round-the-clock surveillance with drones, and integrate seamlessly with local reservists, building a layered defense. Their presence reassures local communities and sends a clear warning to adversaries. These are seasoned professionals, not conscripts, ready to defend every inch of territory. The mission has shifted decisively from internal security to defending the nation's maritime borders, with eyes fixed on the horizon for any sign of intrusion. Boots on Luzon's sands now mark a line the nation is determined to defend. The world is watching as the Philippines stands ready, resolute, and united. The South China Sea standoff is rooted in history, trade, and national identity. For the Philippines, the Spratlys and Scarborough Shoal are vital territory and economic lifelines. The dispute sharpened in the 1970s with formal claims and military outposts, but China's rise brought new challenges. The 1990s saw China's occupation of Mischief Reef, deep within the Philippine EEZ, sparking crisis. China's cabbage strategy, surrounding features with layers of vessels, culminated in the 2012 Scarborough Shoal standoff, a national humiliation for Manila. In response, the Philippines turned to international law, winning a landmark 2016 Hague ruling that rejected China's claims. Beijing dismissed the verdict, deepening the impasse. The conflict today is defined by this legal and political deadlock. China's 9-dash line claims nearly 90% of the South China Sea, overlapping the EEZs of the Philippines and others. Most legal experts say the claim is weak, unclose, ratified by both countries, bases rights on land features, not old maps. The 2016 tribunal found no legal basis for China's historic rights, yet Beijing has doubled down, building artificial islands like Mischief and Fiery Cross, now militarized with runways, radars, and missiles. These unsinkable carriers shift the military balance, enabling persistent Chinese presence and harassment. The 9-dash line is now enforced by concrete, steel, and military might. China's actions challenge the regional order and international law. The dispute is no longer theoretical, it's a daily, physical contest. The Philippine military of 2025 is transformed by modernization. The Horizon program shifted focus from internal security to credible territorial defense. New assets, frigates, FA-50 jets, and especially BrahMos missiles give the Philippines real deterrent power. The Navy now patrols with modern ships. The Air Force intercepts with supersonic jets. BrahMos missiles in Luzon threaten hostile ships hundreds of kilometers away, raising the cost of aggression. Modernization includes joint training and exercises with allies, boosting readiness and interoperability. The Marines' deployment is a practical test of new doctrine and capability. The AFP is now agile, integrated, and ready for a complex security environment. The Philippines' alliance with the U.S. is its security cornerstone, with the Mutual Defense Treaty covering attacks in the South China Sea. U.S. forces now have expanded access to Philippine bases, especially in Northern Luzon. Manila has also deepened ties with Japan and Australia, gaining patrol vessels, surveillance aircraft, and joint exercises. These partnerships create a web of deterrence, raising the stakes for any conflict. The Philippines has internationalized the dispute, winning support from Europe and beyond, and prompting freedom of navigation patrols by allied navies. This collective stance deters China, but also risks escalation. Multiple navies in contested waters make the region volatile. Manila must leverage alliances without being drawn into a wider conflict. Analysts interpret the Luzon mobilization as a calculated act of strategic signaling, primarily defensive in nature, but with a clear message of deterrence. This move is not just about posturing. It demonstrates a readiness to respond decisively if challenged. By deploying advanced anti-ship missiles, Manila is sending a warning to any hostile force considering passage through the Luzon Strait, a vital maritime choke point for China's navy and global trade. This deployment raises the stakes for any potential adversary. These actions significantly complicate Beijing's military planning, especially in scenarios involving Taiwan, forcing China to reconsider its naval strategies and regional ambitions. The Philippine Marine Corps now plays a pivotal role, embodying the new archipelagic coastal defense strategy, transforming scattered islands into interconnected defensive fortresses, ready to resist incursions. This deployment serves as a real-world test of the doctrine, showcasing Manila's determination and resolve to both its allies and potential adversaries. while also strengthening regional partnerships. It signals a new level of strategic maturity for the Philippines and a clear willingness to impose real costs on any act of aggression, raising the bar for deterrence in the region. However, the risks are substantial. China could escalate with increased naval patrols, exert economic pressure, or make assertive moves in contested areas like the Spratlys, further heightening tensions. The situation has become a high-stakes cycle of action and reaction, where every move is closely watched and can trigger a rapid response from the other side. Manila now walks a delicate tightrope, balancing the need for deterrence with the risk of provocation as the region watches to see what comes next. The South China Sea is now a theater of confrontation. China presses its claims with force and militarized islands. The Philippines, backed by law and allies, shifts to credible defense. The Marine deployment in Luzon is a bold new chapter, deterrence backed by advanced missiles. The 2016 Hague ruling remains the legal foundation, but only strength deters further encroachment. Manila is now central in a coalition for a free Indo-Pacific, but this also ties its fate to US-China rivalry. The region's stability hinges on Beijing's next move. As the sun sets over Luzon, the world waits. Is this deterrence or a step closer to conflict? Edge News.